shouldn't have left you.
Without podcast. Listen, it's been bad podcast.
My gosh.
My word.
Thank you for just addressing the elephant in the room right off the top.
Off the top.
Where have we been? What's been going on?
Life has lifed.
Okay.
Yep. I think that's it in a nutshell. You know?
We could elaborate, but that's really what it is.
Must we?
Life is life. Y'all, we missed you. And believe me when I say we are trying to get more regular, to have regular increments between these podcast episodes. But like my friend and co-host said, yes, life has lifed. At the time that you're hearing this, things have happened in our personal lives.
Oh, yeah.
Things have happened in the life of this country. Oh. My God, today.
Oh, my mind. Oh.
And there's lamentation happening around me. But I'm not mad because that's how my soul feels.
Like, it's heavy out here.
It's heavy. Mm-hmm. But we are going to bring some levity.
Yeah.
And in this episode, we are going to deliver on a promise that we made so long ago. But before we do that, we should introduce ourselves just in case we got a couple of new listeners.
Like, who are we?
Who are we?
Yeah.
So I am Melanie Lauren.
And I'm Hollee Chanel.
And what is this?
Dipped with Sweet and Hot.
That's the name of the podcast. That's what we're doing. And so we are back to continue our season of Black love.
Yes.
And we are here to talk about something that we've been wanting to talk about for a while, that we said we were going to talk about. And we are women of our word.
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk about Black hair and love, Black love as expressed through Black hair care.
Listen, folks don't understand. Like, they talk about the main love languages, like a feel, what is it? Like touch,
words of affirmation, physical touch, gifts.
For the culture, you have to add hair.
You have to.
Mm-hmm. Like, I was watching an episode of Grey's Anatomy when Derek Shepherd and what's her name?
I don't know. We got to go with the McDreamy.
McDreamy.
Okay.
And Grey, the main character, they adopted a Black baby. And there's this episode where Derek is walking through the hospital with this Black baby whose hair looks like Who Shot John and forgot to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, so finally, he says, you all are just racist. You've never seen a white man with a Black baby? And Dr. Bailey, the Black woman,
I knew it was going to be Chandra Wilson. What did she say?
She comes up and she's like, they're not looking at you because you got a Black baby. They're looking at you because you got a Black baby whose head standing on top of her head.
Correct.
Now put some foreheads in that baby's head and do her thing. And you know how she just storms off.
And like, that's it. That is the end of the discussion.
It is. Ain't nothing racist about it. It's a love language.
It's a love language.
What he showed all the people in that hospital was that he did not love his child.
Because he did not take comb or brush to Black baby's head.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're going to talk about it. And we have two, for lack of a better word, practitioners of Black love expressed through Black hair care. Lewis said, be sensitive to our bald listeners. We love y'all too. We love you. Because once upon a time, you did have hair.
Listen,
so you even wait.
It existed in some way, shape, or form.
But before we do that, before we bring in our guests, we're just going to do what we always do, what you guys look forward to us doing. And that's do a little bit of Sweet and Hot. We're going to keep it short today. So we're going to talk about what's sweet with us and what's hot with us. Okay. So I'll go first. Okay. I got a little something. I mean, it's not simple, but it's not simple to have accomplished, but I can explain it simply, which is I'm very glad that I'm going to be on TV again soon. That's really good news.
Spill the tea.
Yeah. So I'm going to be appearing in an upcoming episode. Hopefully it'll be upcoming at the time that this gets aired or gets distributed. It'll be an episode of Chicago Fire.
Yes.
It is, I believe, episode 9 of the current season. Yeah. And y'all just have to know, I mean, I'm grateful for all my opportunities. It's been a few years, though, since I've appeared in episodic TV. And that's I've been working on stage. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. But I took a little bit of an unplanned vacation from TV. But I'm back. Yeah. And I had a great time, did a guest starring role in that episode. And so that's my sweet. It's good news. I'm looking forward to that. So y'all make sure you guys check that out. I believe it's going to air January 8th.
Okay.
On NBC.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's my sweet. So what you got that's hot?
Seasonal affective disorder.
Oh,
Yeah,
way
I'm sorry.
to. I mean, it's real,
Listen, Debbie, the downer.
but that's your name. Yep.
Because the way she came in and set up shop, it was like, hi, uninvited, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
well, for the people, explain what that is before we.
Seasonal affective disorder is a form of depression or mental unwellness where that is affected by the loss of daylight, especially in the United States around the month of August and during the cold winter months. Some of us may, this is around the same time frame as cuffing season.
They do, they coincide.
They do coincide, which
interesting.
Which is why people are looking for cuddle buddies. Listen, we need to unpack. We joking, we kid, but we need to unpack why we do the things that we do. Like some folks are looking for cuddle buddies because when you're cuddling, it is shown to increase your endorphins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, seasonal affective disorder. She came in and set up shop like a bad period, homie.
My God. And don't let them both be happening at the same time. Lord have mercy.
IEDs, thank you. But all that said, it is bittersweet, my heart, because she dug out. She's back, y'all. I'm ready.
Yeah, she didn't stay down. She went down, but she didn't stay down.
Stay down.
Yeah. No, I feel you. Like, I've wondered if that's something that I deal with. I know for a fact that sunlight affects me. Like, I have a lot of natural light in my apartment, and I think that really helps me. I would be afraid to think about what it would be like if I didn't. So that's real.
But look, I will tell you what let me know that I was coming around the bend.
Okay.
Because, you know, like when folks get depressed, some folks don't want to shower or they can't get out of bed or you just sit on the couch and you know, it affects people in different ways.
Absolutely.
One of the ways that I knew that I was coming around the bend was I got up, I washed my hair, and I did a 2-strand twist. I did a 2-strand.
You was looking cute.
She was cute.
Okay.
But as we talk about Black love, that was the way that I began to love on myself.
Yep. Through hair.
Through my hair. That was literally, I knew. I was like, oh, you must be feeling good. And you had time for the 2 strands.
And she got a lot of hair, y'all. I don't know. A lot of you guys have never met Hollee or seen her, or me for that matter, but there's a lot of hair on this podcast.
So much.
So the fact that you did that 2-strand, because listen, when was the last time I did a 2-strand on myself, depressed or not? I'll wait. Not ever. I don't have the patience.
You're like, that's not my response. No. So yeah. So to that end, Melanie, will you please do the honor of welcoming our guests?
Yeah. So I'm going to welcome in 2 of my faves. We have Mr. Jos N. Banks and Miss Keirsten Hodgens.
Hey.
Hey, y'all.
Welcome. And they are here not only because I love them, not only because they are super talented. I have to let you guys know that we know each other in a few different ways. Primarily, we know each other as castmates and fellow artists. These are 2 of the people that kept me, let's say, rooted, grounded, having a good time while I was away from home doing Dreamgirls because they were doing it to me. Yes. They're my castmates. So Jos played Cece in Dreamgirls in our production. And Keirsten played Laurel, one of the dreams. And Keirsten especially had my back because I was covering her role.
Oh, yeah.
Which meant that when she wasn't able to perform, I stepped in and she made sure I was ready, y'all.
I love it.
She is the best person I have ever covered. She made sure I was ready.
What she's not going to do is get on this stage and misrepresent me in my absence. Oh, what I'm not going to do, okay?
Misrepresent yourself. You're going to get up there and do it for real.
Yeah. Okay, you know what's funny? As I'm looking at this, you all favor one another. I can see y'all were cast as coverage. Yeah, like that's
who favored
you and Keirsten? Y'all look like y'all could be cousins.
Period.
We're definitely chosen family.
So
we are definitely
let me take a beat right here and say thank y'all for taking care of my sister.
Love.
during the run of Dream Girls, man, because I
Love.
know it was a lot. And you know what? And thank you for allowing her to love on y'all too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know I came and I visited for a couple days up there, and I was just like, oh, my homie's cool. She good.
Yes,
I love
yes. The whole cast, I wouldn't have been able to get through it without it being with the people that we did it with. So yeah. But part of that though, for those of you who might not know, and if you listen to season 1, you may hear me talking about this a little bit, but we were in communities where there was, let's say, access to Black hair care was limited / non-existent.
so diplomatic.
We were doing
They were
Didn't
surrounded by the whites, just inundated.
Did you say we were surrounded by the whites?
Yeah, just drowning in the whites.
I would say trapped is a good word too.
Trapped. That even
We
that
couldn't get it. We couldn't. We
It
quite
felt
literally
like
couldn't get out.
we did not have access to the mainland at times. So that is true.
They held us captive.
So
We were there and there for a long
I
time.
smell a Jordan Peele sequel.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
Listen. Oh my gosh. But we got to get hair. We got to take care of hair
Mm-hmm.
when we're away from home. And let me tell you how God works. Okay. Let me tell you how God works. Because we had to have been, I don't know, a couple of days into rehearsal.
I think one.
1 or 2 days into rehearsal. Now, dippers, when I know I'm gonna be away from home, I'm gonna go handle the hair before I leave. I'm gonna get braided down, especially in a show like Dreamgirls, where I know I have to wear wigs. I'm gonna get braided down, and I'm gonna try to do it in such a way that I buy myself some time. I can wear that style under a wig or not for several weeks. So that's what I did. I had a little braided style going on. We're a day or two into rehearsal. Now, mind you, I don't know Keirsten well at this point, okay? I knew her from like seeing each other at auditions and things like that, but we had never worked together before. I didn't know her well. So we're in rehearsal and she's looking at me and she said, who did your hair?
weird.
And I said, oh, I was like, my stylist is this girl back home. She did my hair. And she waits for, she paused for a second. And she's like, when you take it down, I'm going to do it. Said, correct. Yes, you are. Come on, God. Won't do it? Right.
So wait a minute. So then as soon as y'all get off the stage, Melanie calls me. She says, Holly, I found somebody to do my hair.
Yeah.
Because she was like, Holly, I don't know what I'm going to do at the 1 month mark. Maybe I'll just do some Sealy braids. Like she was going full, like
trying to troubleshoot and yeah,
was,
safety plan.
And within like 1 or 2 days, she was like, Holly, the skies have opened. The angels have sung. Like Keirsten is gonna braid me down. And so, so then I'm the cautious friend. I was like, what her hair look like?
Well,
valid questions, yes.
talk about it, huh?
That's funny.
And she was like, I checked her out, friend. She got hot, but she got hands though. I said, okay. I said, you come back bald, we got a problem.
No worries.
Oh my God. What her
every
hair look like?
strand.
That
You
is so
definitely don't
real.
wanna
Black
come
women do
back
not
with no
play
edges.
about their hair. For real. What her hair look like?
Mm-hmm.
Does she be coming to rehearsal looking a mess? And did, but that don't mean I ain't gonna get you right.
That don't mean I can't do yours.
That don't mean I can't do yours.
So to jump into the conversation, what's interesting to me as we talk about the Black hair love, is that our 2 guests, are you all licensed cosmetologists at all? And that is what is so...
That's what's beautiful about it.
Beautiful and intriguing to me about the both of you as guests.
Yeah.
That this is truly a love language for you all.
Like dead ass. I grew up in a shop. My mom was a cosmetologist for 27 years and then opened a beauty shop and / barber shop after I was out of college. But I literally watched her just like pour into people my entire life, like literally growing up in the shop. I'm talking like, as a baby through high school, I was in that environment and always seeing that love and watch her literally make people feel like their most beautiful self. And that was something that I always wanted to be a part of. She taught me how to cut my hair, and then I just started doing that to little boys in my community. Like if I saw somebody that looked like they, were in need, or like hadn't found a barber yet, I would tell them, come on over. And I would ask my mom first, obviously, because I was in high school not paying no bills. I needed to make sure it was okay that I could have people in her house. But once she realized that like I actually like doing it, she was like, cool, let them in. And then I would just cut people's hair. Then that trickled into college and then now into our industry.
Yeah, and Keirsten was doing hair, Keirsten was doing braids, doing other styles, and Jos was right with her with his clippers and cutting. He was the one who cut everybody's hair. And I have to say, not just Black people. There were some he faded up a few others as well.
I did. And the gag is others was like, no, I want to fade. I said, I do have scissors.
I got my ears.
Baby said, no, I want to fade. Fade me.
Period.
He's like, you better put on that 2-guard.
Fade me up as well.
No, for real. That's so funny.
Look, I don't mind saying it. I don't say names without permission, but this particular member of our company, the Dream Girls company, he walked in the next day. Everybody was like, what? It's a few things that's new. You got a new dude.
Did he get invited to the barbecue?
He was at the barbecue already, but it was next level. Yeah. The food was on point and he liked it too. That's the thing.
See.
So they were both definitely taking care of people and expressing as Black people who have those skills, because everybody doesn't have them. I don't. They were sharing that love with other people, and they didn't have to. They already had jobs, which was to be on stage and doing what they did.
Let's be clear, I wasn't in the show. I saw the show. Dream Girls is a hard show.
Correct.
And especially in the space that y'all did it in, y'all had your work cut out for you. So truly a love language and a ministry at this point.
Yes, definitely. So let's talk about it a little bit. So Jos, you talked about how you got started with doing hair just as something that you wanted to do to show love and care for people. Keirsten, how did you get started?
Similar to Jos, but my mom didn't work in the shop. She did hers in the kitchen. Like I'm talking back then.
That's very Black.
They had the curling irons truly in the kitchen, heating up on the stove. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like a means of survival, like that's how she made extra money. She was a single mom. That's how she made extra money to take care of us. But she also just really had a genuine love for it. And my older sister, she went to cosmetology school and she actually got her license, and then she had her own like boutique shop. So I grew up around people who, my mom and my sister who did hair. And so I just had a natural love for it. But what really got me started was, I know y'all have seen that gif of that little girl who got those braids and those balls and her cheeks are puffed up and she's mad and she's crying. The little girl in the backseat and she's like this.
Yeah.
That's how I was one day, and I said never again, because I thought I was grown. I was around 12 or 13, and my mama did one of them styles on me and put those balls in my hair, and I said, I'm sick of going to school and you making me, no, you're embarrassing me. I don't want to look like this no more. All the other girls got irons out and it's bumped under, and I gotta wear this braid ponytail with these balls and barrette. Take them off. So I started doing my Barbie's hair.
Okay.
When I started doing my Barbie's hair, my mama had, back then she had one of the cute, like little pixie bust downs with the little curling irons that was real little.
Smaller than a pencil.
The real, like it was like a pencil.
The ones that do the stack. Yeah, I know them irons.
The
Marcel's. Yeah, you took the
real tiny ones where you do a bunch of little rolls and stack them in the back. That's exactly
it'd be like this.
Yeah.
Just a typewriter of curls.
Yes. So I would use those on my little Barbie's hair, and they didn't have that much hair. I don't know. Y'all remember the Barbies? They didn't have no hair in the middle. It was just around the outside.
I got a question. Barbie's hair is plastic.
I was about to say it didn't melt.
So I was about to say, that's how I learned temperature and how to do white women's hair.
Oh, okay. We self-taught in diversity, DEI.
Because I used to burn the hell out of them Barbies, and I said, oh, the heat is too hot. Now the white girls, they get their hair done too, because I know you got to turn it down. You can't use
turn down a little bit.
It's different. You know what I'm saying?
Keirsten, you done took me clean out of here.
So I would burn it off. I put the curl on too hot, it'll burn the whole strip off. And I said, it's too hot. So now we got, but then I elevated. I went from the Barbies to the one with it had the big head and then just the shoulder.
Yeah.
Yes, I had one of those.
I was so little and I would just put it between my legs. I taught myself how to French braid. This before YouTube too. It was just, I would just keep practicing and be like, how did it feel? Like, I know this is supposed to go over this way. Like, how does it feel when somebody is doing that to me? It was just literally just like a feeling thing. So I would just start learning. I just learned how to braid and I started learning how to do my own hair. And by that time I taught myself how to do an iron out. I was braiding my own hair. I started doing, by high school, I was doing sew-ins. I was the girl. These women now, hello, these days, people, I saw somebody tweeted today and said, y'all charging $150 for a quick weave. How much is the slow one? And I said, that's funny, first of all. But I was doing sew-ins in high school for $40. I was the girl.
Wow.
Yeah, I was the
Oh
one.
my gosh.
So that's how I learned. I just taught myself.
And just kept getting better at it. Just kept getting. How about I show her a picture? So when I did take the hair down, yeah, I keep a little album of hairstyle pictures so I can just show whoever this is what we aiming for.
Yeah.
Anybody but me. This is what we're aiming for. So I show her the picture and she was like, okay, but what if we do this? And we do this, and she ended up elevating the picture. I can actually post these pictures on social later because I do have
so cute
of like the way that Keirsten styled my hair.
It was cute.
And actually, the picture that's on my driver's license right now, the hair that I have on my driver's license is what Keirsten did because she did my hair right before I came back home and I had to renew my license.
Yes.
But yeah, so let's talk about it was obviously important to you guys to get good at what it is you were doing. Keirsten, you were practicing on your dolls. Jos, you were practicing getting better as you were doing the kids in the neighborhood and just kept going up. From
and
there,
I have a younger brother too. I should say that.
Okay.
Really the guinea pig.
He's the real MVP.
Absolutely.
How bad did you do on one side?
I actually always hooked them up. It was because I used to draw in college. So, like back in the early 2000s, it was the thing to have like designs and
hair.
Stuff shaved in the side of your head. So he would just let me draw literally on his scalp.
Okay.
So I would fade him up and like sometimes, do a design. But for him, he felt like, he was going to school crispy every week.
Okay. Win-win.
Yeah, win-win. And then I was getting to practice. So
yeah. Oh, that's dope.
For sure.
Okay, so we talked about how as Black people, the one way that we love each other is by not letting as you alluded to also, Hollee, with the Grey's Anatomy episode, by not letting each other go out here in these streets looking crazy. Yeah. So it was obviously important to you guys to develop your craft, to get better at it so that you could get good at what you're doing. And I guess I'm just kind of wondering, like, where did that come from? Like, what does it do for you to be able to really hook somebody up like that? As a barber, as a stylist, Keirsten, like, what do you feel on the inside, especially if let's talk about that dynamic, like if it's Black person to Black person, and your client is Black or the person who's sitting in your chair, like what's going on the inside for you?
I love doing hair. First of all, like Black women don't play about their hair and Black men do not play about haircuts. Jos N called me a couple times. I mean, I just really just be living my life sometimes. Jos will be like, you want me to cut your hair? And I'm like, yeah, we can cut it.
Ease up.
I'm like, damn, just let it free. What I'm saying?
She's trying to be modest. No, please.
But I love doing hair. Like you mentioned it earlier. It's just like, I love making people feel beautiful. So like, even whenever I have a client or anything, it's like, I'm one of those people, I don't care. We will do it. I probably told you this. I'm like, I will change anything. We'll do it over. I want you to leave. Like when you look in the mirror, when you go look, I want you to feel like a whole new version of yourself. Like, I just love making people feel beautiful. Like I literally, I just did this. I sang background vocals for this artist a couple of weeks ago. There was another woman who sang background vocals with me.
Really
And
humble
she was,
brag.
I could tell she was having a rough day. She had like dropped her drink and broken a glass and just was frazzled. She had on a hat. She had locks. She had on a hat. Something told me earlier in that day, I said, because I need to refresh a couple of minds too that day. I said, something told me to bring my twisting gel. And I could just tell, I was like, I had to ask her, I let her go through what she was going through. I was like, you all right? And she was like, yeah, I'm fine. It's just like been a morning. I have my twist gel. I said, trust me, girl. I said, I do this all the time, auditions, everything. We ain't got to do the whole thing. I can just do the front. Let's retwist the front. It's going to look like you got a whole new do. She was like, no, you don't do that. And I was like, it's not going to take me no time. So I said, you just chill, you breathe, you take a second, you just be here. I'm just going to retwist the front of your hair. I started retwisting the front of her hair and she just started sobbing. She just started crying and she was like, no one has ever done this for me. Like nobody has ever, I've just never. And it's just one of those things. Like I had maybe 2 rehearsals with this girl. Had never met her before, but it's just one of those things. I feel like hair and that act of service just like brings us together. It's like we had known each other forever. It's like retwisting the front of her, just just the touch, the feel, the vibe, the moment, and I retwisted the front of her. She said she just felt so beautiful. And that's what I live for. I feel like that was something that God blessed my hands with, and that is what I'm supposed to gift out into the world. So if I can do it, if I can help, that's what is gratitude to me.
Wow, that's great. I can see that too, because I've definitely been the one, because we don't, whatever is going on in life. And sometimes sitting in the chair at the salon might be the first time that you really had the first opportunity you've had that day to sit still and just take in what has been going on. Like it's a moment of stillness. You're not doing anything. The other person is doing everything. And it's your first time to really just like check in with yourself and survey and be aware of all the things you're feeling. So I totally can see breaking down in the chair in tears just because it's just like, I have a moment. You know what I mean? Joss, what about you?
I also just want to say that what you were just talking about, I don't think people really realize how vulnerable that is.
Yeah.
And how comforting it is sometimes for you to literally have your scalp in somebody else's hands. Like that motion is therapeutic for a lot of us and just feels healing. And I think that's a big part of it as well. For me, answering your question, I'm a big brother in real life and like with all of my friends as well. A lot of people joke and say that I'm the dad of the group. Like that's just I like to provide, but I also feel like for me, especially with hair, like if I have my clippers on me and I got time, you're gonna have a haircut. That's what you need. You know what I mean? Like if we kicking it at the function and I got my clippers on me, why not? Pull up the chair and let's go. You know what I mean? Like to me, I would rather, like Keirsten was saying, allow somebody to feel like their best selves and like you literally watch people transform, like their moods change completely. And for guys, like a haircut a haircut will have you looking like a brand new man. I mean, complexion is brighter. What are we even talking about?
All of a sudden you fine now.
Listen.
And you really just lined up. Like that's crazy.
That's it. That's all.
And I want that for like everybody around me. I feel like if we're ever going anywhere and I'm sharp, y'all gonna be sharp too. There's no way I'm gonna let any of my friends and loved ones like that are in need of something not get what they need. I'm just like that. We both are, Keirsten and I. It's just our hearts. Like and then it pours into what we do, like this is a gift that we have and I would love to share it. Like there's no reason for me to just keep that for myself, Now, in these institutions that we are in that are often white and we can't monetize off of that, why not?
Yes. Yes. Because both of them, I'm not gonna say too much, but both of them do work in capacities to prepare actors for shows that they're not even in. But they are helping these actors have their hair braided down or however their hair needs. Some of these are period pieces. And so it's like hair has to look a certain way. And Keirsten and Joss will have stepped over into being able to do that too. But in their personal lives, in their personal time, I personally have seen Joss cut somebody's hair while everybody's just sitting around hanging out eating. Like, and that's like,
Playing
because, and the same with Keirsten, like she was doing her at the family, at the family dinner. And half the time it was my hair.
Yeah.
So like, it's really a thing. And the beautiful thing is that they do it like as a love language. Keirsten, we got all the way through the process. She hadn't said nothing to me about money. And so I finally was like, girl, what you want me to pay you? And she was just like, oh, and so it really is something that they do for love. And I guess we'll wrap this up soon, but I guess the last thing that I'm wondering is that, like, both of you guys talked about how you got this gift. You worked on it as children. You grew up in environments where people were doing hair around you, and that's kind of how it got started. Is this something that you hope to pass on, whether you have children or whether you have others in your lives who are that you're not, they're not your children, but like you want to, I guess, as far as like legacy and continuation of this like Black love language, is that something that you thought about at this point where it's like, I want to make sure that like people after me know how to do this?
Absolutely. I also costume design, and I found that I could bring this work into that. Sometimes if I'm designing a show and say I want to have somebody in like a Gumby haircut, I can give them that, or I can hire someone else to do it. But like if I already have the skill set to do it, why not? I do think that like in my teaching of like my master classes and stuff to young theater artists that are up and coming in this industry, like them knowing that that is something that they can add on to their skill set in the future would be beautiful. I don't have a lot of people around me that are saying that they want to learn how to cut. More so,
Okay.
can you cut? As opposed
Yeah.
to saying that they want to learn, but I would love to, pass that on because it was taught to me by my mom. And yeah, I would love that.
Okay. What about you, Keirsten?
I don't know who I would pass it on to. I don't really see the little me's. But sometimes I don't know if I'm like skilled enough to like teach somebody else how to do. It's just something that I just kind of do. But I think that I definitely make sure that people know that it's possible for this to be something that they can do, that you can add on to your skill set, that that can just
Yeah.
be an extension of your craft.
Yeah.
But just, find you some I don't know, get network.
Practice on a Barbie. But first of all, imposter syndrome is real. So like
True.
your feelings are valid, but you do know enough to teach other people, first of all.
Well, I think what you're sharing, it's not necessarily the skill, you're sharing the love.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're sharing the tenderness and the care. And that's what people walk away from. Like, I know I wanted to do this episode because my mother always said that doing hair was a love language. I did my niece's hair from when they were young. I have a friend who has a severely autistic daughter. And, I had a saying, just because she's autistic, she doesn't have to look like it. And so I enlisted a friend because it took two of us because she was nonverbal. But I enlisted a friend to do her hair on a regular basis. And it is amazing to watch her transformation from the time she walks through the door to the time she's ready to leave. And let me, it's a fight. Let's not, but it's worth the fight because she walks away and she's all smiles and giggles and she looks forward to the time. And the last thing that I'll share, I hate to be Debbie the Downer again, but it's very, I think, uplifting, and it was the last act of care. I have a elementary school friend who recently passed away from a brain aneurysm that was inoperable. And we got a phone call to say that, come and say your goodbyes because they couldn't operate. And eventually her family would have to pull life support. And so, I had never been, I realized that we're getting to that age where, stuff like that can begin to happen as we get older. As I was driving to the hospital, I kept going over in my mind, what do you do other than stand there and say goodbye? Like, what do you do? How do you? And so then I said, not what do you do, Hollee? What would you, Hollee, do? And so I reached in my glove box and I got my edge control, my spare edge control. and my spare hairbrush, because I knew my friend had not done her hair before she decided to go and had this brain aneurysm. I knew she had. And sure enough, I walk into this hospital and she's hooked up to all these machines and her hair is all over her doggone head. And I asked the nurse, can I do her hair? And she said, yeah. And so I gave her 2 pigtails. But all while I'm doing her hair, she's got involuntary movement on the left side of her body and she's jerking. And so another friend of ours comes in and she says, Hollee, you always knew you were heavy-handed with that girl's hair, because I used to braid her hair on the playground in 5th grade. And she's like, Christine didn't like you pulling on her hair like that. And after I finished, she looked adorable. She had her 2 pigtails. She was slicked back and, looking like herself. And our other friend comes in and says, Chris, I'm going to kick Holly's tail for yanking you around like that. And the girl kicks her right foot. She heard us. And then the very next day, priest came and gave her last rites. And she transitioned beautifully. Beautifully. I didn't know if I was doing the right thing, but when I did it, it felt like there was nothing else that would have been right to do to say my goodbye. And so I hate to not to end on that note, but to really say to you all, thank you.
Yeah.
You just don't know how in providing that service as a love, especially in the arenas in which you're doing it, because, let's call it what it is. Even though the tide is turning, a lot of the times the work you do is in heavily white spaces that are not built for us, that are not built for you, that are not accommodating to you. And nevertheless, you provide it. You rise above, you evolve. And it was as an outsider being up there what was that? In
East Haddam, Connecticut.
In East Haddam, Connecticut. It was just so beautiful to see you all, perfect strangers, love on one another in such a fashion. And if we had more, and I will say this, every episode that we have had in this season of Black Love, I saw on display in East Haddam. Cooking, taking care of one another, being therapeutic to one another.
Keirsten can cook too. That's another episode, but I've benefited from that as well.
Listen, continue. Relationship advice. I met a couple boyfriends while I was there of folks that were in the show. But thank you. And I'll leave it at that. It was beautiful. It was beautiful to witness.
Yeah.
Oh, we really helped each other. Oh my God. What a fantastic group of people. I know that I wouldn't have made it barely sane, but I would have not, if it was not for that group of people, like 3 holidays there in that small little town. Wouldn't have made it. Like, we definitely showed up for each other. It was a very special group.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We definitely showed up for one another. Sure. And I think it goes to what Jos was talking about earlier too, is just like not minimizing the trust that has to go on. And when you you are in a vulnerable position, because somebody could cut your hair off, they could burn it off like the Barbies that Keirsten was practicing on. If they don't know what they're doing, like they can hurt you, whatever. Like, you are literally putting your head in someone's hands. And I think it's just, we trusted you guys, and not just because we trusted you, but because you earned it. Like, we felt that you were trustworthy as well. And so I don't want to gloss over that. But yeah, thank you for putting your Black love into the world, into our community, continuing to do so through the care of our hair. I think that's something that we as Black people, it's not unique to us, but there's nobody like us. So,
and real quick, before we let you go, where can the folks find you and see what you're up to? Because I know y'all never stay still for long.
My handle is at Jos N Banks on all social media platforms, and my website is fearlessjos.com.
Period. You can try to catch me on Instagram. I don't really be on
Just
there
find
like
her
that.
on the streets of NYC.
You can find, baby, catch me when you can. You can find me on the streets of New York, maybe in Harlem every now and then. My handle is She Speaks Music. My hair page is She Speaks Hair. I don't do well at posting on either, but you can find me there. And if you want to book an appointment, hit me up on either one of those.
Yeah,
I love it.
Well, I love y'all. Thank you for being supporters of the podcast with your time and your energy tonight. Josh, you a day one dipper, avid listener. Thank you so much. We love you guys. And we'll see you around. I'm gonna be making some appointments soon.
Okay, come on to the group. We miss
All right, y'all. Well, with that, I am Melanie Lauren.
And I'm Hollee Chanel.
And this has been Dipped with Sweet and Hot. We'll see you next time.
Holla.